Welcome to Building DApps, Front-End Integration. In this video, we'll explore how to connect Web3 blockchain functionality to your user interface. Decentralized applications, or DApps, require a bridge between smart contracts on the blockchain and the front-end that users interact with. By the end of this tutorial, you'll understand the essential components and techniques needed to create functional, user-friendly decentralized application interfaces. Building a DApp frontend requires 4 core components working together. First, the Web3 provider acts as your gateway to blockchain networks, allowing your application to communicate with the Ethereum network or other blockchains. Second, wallet connection handles user authentication and transaction, signing through browser wallets like MetaMask. Third, smart contracts represent your backend logic that your frontend will interact with. Finally, you'll need a UI framework such as React, Vue, or even vanilla JavaScript to build the actual user interface. Each of these components plays a critical role in creating a seamless, decentralized experience. To begin building your DApp frontend, you'll need to install a Web3 library. The most popular and modern choice is ethers.js, which provides a clean and comprehensive interface for blockchain interactions. You can install it using npm by running npm install ethers, or if you prefer Yarn, simply run yarn add ethers. This single library will handle all your blockchain communication needs, from connecting to networks to interacting with smart contracts. Ethers.js is lightweight, well-documented, and has become the industry standard for front-end blockchain development. Connecting to a user's wallet is the first step in any DApp interaction. Here's how to connect to MetaMask, the most widely used browser wallet. Create an async function called connectWallet. Inside, instantiate a new ethers.browser provider, passing in window.ethereum, which is the MetaMask provider injected into the browser. Then, request account access by calling provider.send with the method eth_requestAccounts and an empty array as parameters. This will prompt the user to approve the connection, and upon approval, you'll receive access to their wallet accounts. This connection is essential for any subsequent blockchain interactions. Once connected to MetaMask, you'll need to obtain a signer to send transactions. A signer is an object that represents an Ethereum account and can sign transactions on behalf of the user. Create another async function called getSigner. First, create the provider using the same browser provider pattern we just learned. Then, call the getSigner method on the provider using await, which returns a signer object tied to the currently connected account. This signer is what you'll use to send transactions and interact with smart contracts that modify blockchain state. Without a signer, you can only read data, not write it. To interact with a smart contract, you need to create a contract instance. This requires 3 pieces of information. First, the contract address, which is the deployed location of your smart contract on the blockchain. Second, the ABI or application binary interface, which is essentially a JSON description of your contract's functions and events. Third, the signer object we obtained earlier. Create a new contract instance using new ethers.contract, passing in the contract address, the ABI array, and your signer. Once instantiated, this contract object gives you direct access to all the functions defined in your smart contract, making interactions straightforward and type-safe. Reading data from a smart contract is free and doesn't require gas fees. These are called view functions or read-only operations. To read data, simply call the contract methods directly. For example, to get a user's token balance, call await contract.balanceOf, passing in the address. To retrieve the token name, call await contract.name. These calls return promises that resolve to the data stored in the contract. Reading operations are instant and cost nothing, making them perfect for displaying information to users. You can call these functions as often as needed without worrying about transaction costs or confirmation times. Writing data to a smart contract requires sending a transaction, which costs gas fees and needs user approval. Let's look at how to send a transaction. Create an async function called writeData that accepts parameters like recipient and amount. Call the contract function, such as contract.transfer, passing in your parameters. This returns a transaction object. Importantly, you must wait for the transaction to be confirmed by calling await tx.wait. This ensures the transaction has been mined and included in a block. The receipt returned contains important information like the transaction hash, gas used, and whether the transaction succeeded or failed. Smart contracts emit events when important actions occur, and your front-end can listen to these events in real time. To set up an event listener, use the contract.on method. Pass in the event name as the first parameter, such as transfer, and a callback function as the second parameter. The callback receives the event parameters, allowing you to react to blockchain events as they happen. For example, you might update the UI when a transfer occurs or notify the user of successful actions. When you're done listening, clean up by calling contract.removeAllListeners with the event name. Event listeners are crucial for creating responsive, real-time DApp interfaces. Robust error handling is essential for a good user experience in DApps. There are several common error scenarios to handle. First, user rejection occurs when someone declines to sign a transaction in their wallet. Handle this gracefully with a friendly message. Second, insufficient gas happens when users don't have enough funds to pay for transaction fees. Always estimate and display gas costs before transactions. Third, network errors can occur due to connectivity issues or node problems. Implement retry logic and check for connection status. Finally, timeouts can happen when transactions take longer than expected. Set appropriate wait times and provide status updates to keep users informed throughout the process. Following best practices ensures your DApp is reliable, efficient, and user-friendly. First, implement proper state management to track wallet connections and network changes. Users might switch accounts or networks, and your application should respond accordingly. Second, use data caching to reduce unnecessary RPC calls to the blockchain. Blockchain data doesn't change instantaneously, so caching recent reads improves performance and reduces costs. Third, prioritize security by validating all user inputs before sending them to smart contracts. Never trust data from the client side. Finally, build a responsive UI that supports mobile wallets and different screen sizes. Many users access DApps from their phones, so mobile compatibility is no longer optional. You now have the foundational knowledge to build decentralized application frontends. You've learned how to connect to wallets, interact with smart contracts, handle transactions, and follow best practices. The key to success is connecting powerful smart contracts to beautiful, intuitive user interfaces that make blockchain technology accessible to everyone. Start with small projects, experiment with different patterns, and gradually build more complex applications. The decentralized web is growing rapidly, and front-end developers who can bridge the gap between Web3 and traditional web development are in high demand. Now it's your turn to start building your decentralized future.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.